Shout out to Blueprint Podcast.
Hey, so we're here in an establishment that you built. So I guess my first question for you is, how did we get here?
Shit, grinding, man. Basically following my blueprint, like what the podcast is titled, man. Like I had a blueprint. The blueprint that I built came from when I was incarcerated. It was a grind, saving my money. You know what I'm saying? Saving my money, and basically sticking to my script. You know what I mean? And this is how I got here.
So, how long were you incarcerated for? And if you can talk about it,
I did close to 10 years in federal prison. Yeah, I did close to 10 years in federal prison.
And how long were you supposed to be there?
At least about 13 years. I had a 15-year bid. Excuse me. I had a 15. One second. Hello? Hello? I'm free. Okay. 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 But I'm sorry about that.
The money rolling. The money rolling in.
That was one of my customers, man. I had a 15-year bid. My release date was 2023. They wound up passing a law called the Fair Sentencing Act. And through the Trump administration, Donald Trump, man. And I wound up getting immediate release. You know, Donald Trump see this. Thank you, Trump. Thank your administration, and thank one of the ladies that I can remember is Lisa. If you see this, thank you for putting my paperwork in and bringing me home.
So you said Donald Trump passed some type of act that allowed you to get released early?
Yeah, he passed a law called the Fair Sentencing Act, and it was to make the crack ratio. I want to say it was 100 to 1. Obama did it 18 to 1, and then what Trump did was he came back and made it retroactive. So all of us that wasn't able to benefit from when Barack Obama did it, when Trump came into office, he basically piggybacked off of Barack Obama and made it retroactive. And here you is talking to me. I'm supposed to still be incarcerated right now. My release date was 2023.
Wow. So what was your feelings when you got that phone call? Like, hey, this is going on, and we may have an opportunity to get you released. What take us to that moment? How did you feel?
Man, it was just like, to be honest with you, it was like, because I had been denied for the clemency twice, and that was up under the Obama administration. So I was just like, when you've been denied twice, and you continuously looking at potential loopholes in your case, and you see like, damn, like I just gotta do this time after I exhausted the clemencies, like it didn't go through or whatever. Like, I was just like, man, I gotta do this time. So when I got that news, it was kind of like, let me see what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I didn't believe it. First of all, because just being honest with you, we had a white president. I'm gonna just be honest. You know, we had a white president, so I was just like, man, 2023. I mean, I hear him talking about the law. Okay, if he passed the law, he ain't let no black folks out. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of went with whatever the lawyer was saying. She was just like, I'm gonna put your paperwork in. Mind you, this is the same woman when I first started my sentence. Anytime a law was implemented, she would always write me like, hey, we finna see if it works for you. And every time it was like, nope, you don't qualify. Nope, you don't qualify. So when you hear that a lot, and then you, like I said, with the Clinton Obama administration, you just like, man, I finna do my time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I got that call, they call your case manager. when you're in federal prison, you have a case manager. Call my case manager, whatever, and then my case manager winds up getting on the speaker or whatever, calling me down there, and that's what it was about or whatever. The lady said she was gonna send some paperwork to give her the authority to, file whatever they gonna file. And, I just told her to do what she do. If I get, I kind of doubted it, to be honest with you, first.
So, trying to break free from the system that you were put in, I know that had to be discouraging. Putting in and reaching out to the president of the United States, that's almost like some desperation. It's like, please help me out, and being denied multiple times. How did you stay strong? Did you keep hope? Did you say, I guess I just got to do my time? Like, what was that like for you?
To be honest with you, I want to say cutting hair. Like, when I was down there cutting hair kept me balanced, bro. You know what I mean? It kept my mind focused on what I was doing down there. You know what I mean? You don't want to mess up nobody here in prison. You know what I mean? So, of course, when I was in the barbershop cutting up in there, like, you know what I mean? I was focused on that, and that kind of like kept my mind off of certain things. You know what I mean? Even working out, when I used to go work out with the few people that I dealt with, we used to talk about a lot of different things, so it made the days go by fast. So,
what did your support system look like? Did you have any? I'm sure you made friends. You were in it for quite some time.
Right.
Did you make any friends or any family? What did your support system look like?
Shit, my mama. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you lose a lot of friends. You know what I mean? My mama was there, even though me and my mama didn't even have the best relationship prior to prison. Like, we didn't have no great relationship, but when I got incarcerated, I want to say that helped build the relationship with me and my mom, because we was able to talk in visitation, mainly visitation. When she came to visit me, wherever I was, we was able to talk about like things that we both ducked, basically. You know what I'm saying? So my mama was always there. And I talked to my kids. I stayed in touch with my kids, of course. And
what did your mom think? Like, the first time you made that phone call to her, tell her, like, I'm going to be here for a while.
Well, she was in the court with me. So she was right there when they gave me 180 months. They gave me 120 months on count 1, and then they gave me 60 months on count 2, and they ran it consecutive. So when they say consecutive, that means you got 15 years. I got the 10 years for drug possession, and then I got the 5 years for a gun charge. The gun wasn't even mine, but I wound up stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Wow. So what would you tell that version of Keith? What would you tell him right now? With all the wisdom that you got right now, what would you tell him and advise him of today?
It ain't worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how much money you making out here or whatever, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, I understood, not to go somewhere else with this, but I understood what I was doing. Either I was gonna go to prison or get killed out here in the streets. But I didn't think that I would get 15 years, being that I never had a criminal history. You know what I'm saying? So when I got 15 years, I was just like, dang, 15 years, like, damn. 5 would have been good, but at the same time, just being honest with how I think, if I would have got 5 years, the chances are I would have got back out here and did the same thing. So by me getting that 15 years, I was able to analyze everything that had happened, from my mistakes to just everything. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because there's a lot of people, and there's somebody going through the same situation you went through back then. What year was that?
And I got busted in 2009.
2009. There's somebody 2022 right now going through the same situation.
It's you're right.
And it's a cycle. What would you advise them of? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
When it comes to the feds, your finances mean nothing. You can have all the money in the world, like you can't pay your way. You can't pay your way with the feds. You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm trying to explain is don't waste your money on a lawyer like I did. I made the mistake of paying these lawyers, and shit, I was gonna wind up with the same type of time anyway. So I wish I would have kept that money, you know. So what I would say is if somebody is in a similar situation to don't waste their money on a lawyer. You know, just get you a what they call it, lawyer that you don't pay that's just gonna represent you, or
Public defender.
You know, fight your own case. You know what I'm saying? Don't waste your money.
So just to kind of segue a little bit back, I know we talked a little bit about support system. Did you meet anybody while you were incarcerated?
Man, I met some great people. First one would be, I want to say Cleo Page. Cleo Page was the first person that I met from California. Out of, I want to say Inglewood. And I did six and a half years with him, man. And he taught me a lot. He was in there on the long bid himself, you know what I mean? Which, you know, I know he probably got tired of me because I used to complain about the 15 years until he told me basically how much time he had. When he told me how much time he had, I kind of like stopped complaining, but still kind of complain. You know what I mean? Like, but he was one of the ones that pretty much took me up under his wing and taught me a lot of things. He was one of the ones that pushed me to write my first book. You know what I mean? He's a screenplay writer as well as an author too. So
you're writing a book.
He was the first one. Yeah, I wrote a book called Product of My Environment. That's part one, and then part two is called Product of the System, because Product of My Environment is about my past prior to prison, and Product of the System is part two. I fell victim to the system. You know what I mean? And then, you know, like I said, I did 6.5 years with him. And then I wound up meeting Jeremy Archer. You know what I mean? He's successful rap artist right now. I met him in Alabama. Pops, Glover. Man, it's a few of them. You know what I mean? And then there's still some down there right now. I still send them money now, you know what I mean? Like, you know, a lot of them got time still, so whenever I have it, you know what I mean, I still, you know, send people money, you know what I mean? Because I know I've been there, I know how it is. With me, the good thing about me, I was the barber down there, so I never called my mom for nothing. Just the day I walked in prison to the day I got that immediate release, I never asked my mom for a dime. Prior to prison, how I was living out here doing the wrong thing. In prison, I was living like that. You only supposed to have one locker. In prison, I had like 4. So I was having it my way. I didn't have to, and that's actually a blessing. You know what I mean? Like, I was making money off my talent, off my profession. I mean, so, and that's how I was able to rub hands with a lot of important dudes. You know what I mean?
So when did you start cutting hair?
I started cutting hair before prison. I got my license back in 2001 at Williams Water College.
Did you ever see yourself doing that full time, or was that just something you just did on the side?
I did that. I didn't take it serious, but one thing I can say is I'm proud of myself. Although I was doing the wrong things, I wound up getting my license in the process. But I wasn't taking it serious because I was caught up in the streets selling drugs.
So what made you even get your license? You was making so much money doing other activities. What made you?
I just wanted, you know what I mean? I just wanted to be like, I got my license. You know what I mean?
You ever look at that and be like, man, this might have been a sign of things to come?
I believe everything happened for a reason.
Because a lot of times in life we have these actions that take place and we don't really understand what it is at the moment, and then later on in life we figure out like, oh, that's what it was about. Because right now we're sitting in something that you created with your hands,
right,
and it turned into a serious professional business.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know. I just think you have a story to tell and an inspirational one at that. And speaking of that, I know you said you had the books. Do you have a release date for those, or?
I don't have a projected release date. You know what I mean? I feel like everything is timing. You know what I mean? So that's why I keep myself busy with other things I got going on, because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not just a barber. I got other businesses that's doing what they supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
like I said, following my blueprint. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. It's been times where I get distracted, but then I always go back. Hold up. I always tell myself, hold up. Get back on the road. You know what I mean? It's like you driving the car, you hitting them bumps, and then you have to get back. You know what I mean?
So you were talking about you being an entrepreneur. I think that's something that I really want people to understand is like you weren't just this convict. People can look at you and say, "Man, that's just an ex-convict," or whatever they will call you. You came out here and made something of yourself.
Right.
And I know being down bad for some people is not enough. There's people that did the same amount of time as you, and they came back and did the same thing and ended up right back in the same situation or dead.
Right.
So what was that driving and motivating factor to keep you going, to keep you saying, I want to do this legitimate, I want to establish businesses, I want to bring people under me? What keeps you going?
My kids. I want to say my kids. I didn't want me coming back out here repeating what I did prior to prison would have been selfish, because it would have shown that I don't care about my kids when I do. You know what I'm saying? Just thinking that. You know what I mean? I know they got good mothers, but at the end of the day, I grew up without a father figure. You know what I'm saying? So I want my kids to have that.
How old were your kids when you?
My daughter was 7 going on 8 when I got out. She was 17 years old.
Yeah, did she ever tell you how she felt?
Oh yeah.
What kind of effect did that have on her?
Man, it was a lot. Like just not being there. She explained a lot. And I had to make her understand that I made bad choices. You know what I'm saying? So by me making bad choices, I had to do time. You know what I mean? For what I did. So she understood. She had her days, her ups, her downs, and just being a father, not being there. You know what I'm saying? Not being there for her. I think that's the only regret I have with everything I've been through in life is that relationship with my daughter, my oldest daughter. So.
Now, as y'all can see, we still in the shop. We still on work hours, so I wish we had more time, but I'll probably can I get one more question with you?
Sure.
Because he still has clients and stuff like that. But I guess I want to ask, you talked about Lil Jern, and how did you guys meet in prison? How did that come apart?
Jern, man, I was watching TV, and when I was watching TV, some guys approached me, hey man, this dude here, he ain't got no shoes, man. His feet literally like your size, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And it's crazy because he had dudes where he was from Florida, from Miami or whatever, that wore the same size as me, but dudes back in weird. Anyways, they brought him to me. And when they brought him to me, he, hey bro, I just got here, I don't have my property yet, you know what I mean? I need some shoes, I gotta get out these we call them thongs, they're like them little Jesus slides or whatever. And I'm like, man, bet, you know what I mean, follow me. So we start talking on our way up the stairs to where I had all my stuff or whatever. And I gave him some shoes. I think I want to say I gave him some workout shoes and some nice shoes to where he can, feel comfortable until his money hit his property came. And we, ever since that day, we was locked in. You know what I mean? Even when he got his money in and his property, he brought my shoes and he tried to give them back to me. I'm like, no, bro, you can have them. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Then, we started working out. Shit, we was, how you say, inseparable. You know what I mean? Like, when you seen me, you seen Jern. When you seen Jern, you seen me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. All up until they gave me the immediate release.
How old was Jeremy at the time?
I want to say he was like 18, 19. He was young.
Wow. Y'all still keep in contact today?
Yep. I got that immediate release, man. When they gave me that immediate release, he was like, man, you going home? I'm like, yep. He's like, man, you gonna forget about me, man. Man, I said, bro, hurry up and write your mama number down, bro. Hurry up and write your mama number down. So, fast forward, once I got me a phone or whatever, the first thing I did was call his mama. You know what I mean? To, let him know, so she can let him know that I called or whatever. And, me and Germ talked about a lot down there, from everything we wanted to, everything we were gonna do when we got out, and shit, we doing it. You know what I mean? He doing it on his end, I'm doing it on my end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything.
So I said one last question. So this one I'm gonna leave up to you. Can you tell us anything that you got going on? Anything that you want the people to know? Anything you want to promote?
B&E, you know what I mean? Everything is banging, you know what I mean? I got the banging bullies, I got the banging barber shop, I got, man, I don't even want to, I got other things going on, you know what I mean? But it's a few businesses, you know what I mean? I don't want to just put it all out there yet, because a lot of people don't be happy for your success.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? But shit, we get it. You know what I mean? The biggest thing about it is we owners. You know what I mean? Like, this shit don't really happen. You know what I mean? I don't know nobody in my family that did that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I followed the cycle of my uncles with going to prison, but I got some out of it.
Yeah.
They sent me to federal college. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got some out of it. You know what I mean? And I came out here and executed. And that's what it is, bro.
Yeah, and that's the key, man. This is just a taste of what we got going on and the type of content that we're gonna provide. I hope I can sit down with you again and go a little bit further into detail, because this man has an incredible life story and he still ain't done yet. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and we're gonna continue based off of y'all energy. Whatever energy y'all put out there for us, that's the same energy we're gonna put back into you.
Shout out to the Blueprint Podcast. B&E.